Hi, this is Marc Katz, dating coach for smart, strong, and successful women. Thank you very much for coming back for the second installment in my video blog series. The last installment was that men are more interested in feelings than in looks, and I hope you took that to heart and didn't take it too personally. I certainly wasn't telling you that you're a bad girlfriend and you make men feel like crap, but rather that it's often revelatory to understand that men are attracted to the same things you are, brains and beauty and all that stuff, but the good guys at the end of the day are far more focused on how they feel in a relationship and all the thoughtful things that you do for them, and that by being a more generous, understanding, thoughtful, playful, trusting woman, you bring out a better side in your guy. And the more you could bring out that side in your guy, the happier you're going to be in a long-term relationship. And that's a perfect segue to what we're doing here today for the second video post. Also kind of an eye-opener, and I'm confident that by the time you're done with this couple-minute video, I'm going to give you a tip that's going to literally save you years of wasted time on men in the future. You don't attract the wrong men, you accept the wrong men. That's really challenging because I know as a woman, sometimes you just feel like you're a bad man magnet. All the wrong guys just come out of the woodwork and stick to you. I don't think it's quite that simple, and I want to explain why, so please be patient with me. First of all, what drives most of us into relationships is that little thing called chemistry. And the funny thing about chemistry is how amazing it feels when you have it. It's just exciting and obsessive, and you just want to be around him and touch him and breathe his air, and you can't stop thinking about him. The downside of chemistry is that, and you've seen it before in your own relationships, it allows you to sort of blind yourself to what's wrong with him. So all of us have gotten into relationships based on amazing chemistry and realized that the relationship was terrible. It was really tempestuous, and you ended up breaking up because there was fundamental flaws in the relationship that you sort of swept under the rug because of how strongly you felt. Now what makes it even more difficult for you is that you're not just an average woman, you're an extraordinary one. And if you're an extraordinary woman, that means by definition, 95% of the guys out there are the wrong men. So you could say, I always attract the wrong men. Quite the contrary. 95% of the guys are the wrong men. You don't attract the wrong men, you just attract men. Most of them are the wrong men. But sometimes when a guy finally gets through your chemistry filter, jumps the bar above the 95th percentile, and you're like, this is the one. And you get really, really excited, you get involved in this relationship, you dive in headlong because you have that feeling, and you haven't had that feeling in a long time. Suddenly you wake up 6 months later and you're in a relationship with a guy who doesn't call you, who doesn't treat you well, who doesn't listen to you, who doesn't really have the same values that you do, who has major emotional problems, who's a commitment phobe, right? You have given him room in your life. You've given him space in your life. You didn't attract the bad guy. Right? You accepted the bad guy. And to me, that's your big takeaway. Right? It's easy to talk about how guys suck and guys do this and guys do that, and you're completely right. Guys do everything, right? You're not wrong in your observations. But at a certain point, you have to stop blaming men for being flawed. There's lots of flawed men in the universe, but if they're not dating you, it doesn't really matter. You could reject them out of hand. Once you leave the bad guy, he has no impact on your life. So the problem isn't attracting the wrong men. Most men are the wrong men. The problem is when you accept that man because you have chemistry with him and you give him a free pass to your heart, and then you end up in a relationship that doesn't really give you what you need. So from now on, don't beat yourself up for attracting the wrong men. If you beat yourself up for anything, beat yourself up for accepting the wrong men. And if you start implementing this little piece of advice, you will literally save years of wasted time on the wrong men, because you'll know that great chemistry does not necessarily equal a great relationship, and that if you don't accept a bad man could have no impact on your life. If you struggle to understand and connect with the right men, I hope this video has given you a little bit of insight that it's not your responsibility to attract the right men. It's a big part of your responsibility to reject the wrong men sooner rather than later. And I think this could save you years of time in the future.